Our next guest is a heart attack survivor who is using her experience to raise risk awareness among Black women. And before we speak to her, here is her story.
I had a heart attack at 45 years old.
Commissioner Angela Conley was shoveling snow in her driveway when she started feeling different.
I started just to feel a burning in my chest. I'm sweating. I went that whole day, that whole evening, ignoring what was becoming more and more uncomfortable. The next day, I go to the Capitol. I go to work. Like, I'm still feeling really just not all the way there. So heavy pain in my back, between my shoulder blades, that radiated upwards through my neck and my jaw.
She decides it's time to call for help and is rushed to the hospital.
I remember stopping and looking up at one of the nurses. I think I said, like, did I have a heart attack? And she just looks at me, like, no expression on her face. She looks right at me and she's like, ma'am, you're having a heart attack. I didn't say a word after that. I was just in shock, like, wow.
Ooh, goosebumps. To tell us more about her story, Commissioner Angela Conley joins us live. Commissioner Conley, thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. It feels good to be here.
Amen.
Yes.
Commissioner, we just heard from you that you had your heart attack at age 45. And, you know, I always tell my patients that having a family history of heart disease, especially if you're young, is one of the biggest things that puts a target sign on your back. And so if you have a male relative under 55 or female relative under 65 who's had heart disease, you could be a victim. So, you know, I'm wondering, did you have a family history of heart disease?
Well, I did actually. I had my dad had heart disease, and what's the irony in all of this is he passed away from heart disease about a month before I had my heart attack.
Oh no!
I lost an aunt to a heart attack, and my mother in her 50s had a heart attack and had stents put in. So this is something that is just embedded within our family that we didn't really know much about, to be honest with you.
Well, you know, first of all, we're so glad that you are here, Commissioner Conley. But I want to follow up on what you're saying, because you know, you have this family history, you share it with your doctor. So walk us through, was there any preventative information given? Like, what happened after you told them all about this?
Not really. Like, the questions are always asked, like, do you have a family history of this, of that, of that? And when it comes to heart disease, it's yes. Now, for many years of my life, I didn't know that you know, my parents had heart disease. They didn't know. But there's not much preventative information that's given, especially to Black women, about things that we can do differently, ways that we can change our diet, how we should be, you know, getting exercise. You know, as women, we're always told to lose weight, no matter what the issue is that we're going through. But it was never connected to this prevents heart attacks. So yeah, work needs to be done there.
Well, yes, and I can tell you, I mean, when we talk about young Black women, I think about how I learned so much about my health, and it's because there was an issue, and that's generally when we're getting the information. So what do you hope young women, especially young Black women, take away from your story when it comes to preventative health?
Oh my goodness. We have to pay attention to our bodies, pay attention to how we're feeling that's different, pain that we've never felt before. But even before the pain even gets there, like, go out and have walking groups or have recipe groups where we're trying new things and trying healthier ways of eating, and just being in community with each other in ways that we typically don't. We live busy lives, but we have to pay attention to our health if we're going to continue to live our lives. So I think doing it together, it can get really lonely when you're recovering. So to prevent even having to recover in the first place with each other, I think it speaks volumes to what it could be done to prevent heart attacks in the future for young Black women.
Absolutely. So Commissioner Conley, we only have about a minute left, but I wanted to get this in. How has you sharing your story like you are today impacted your community?
Oh, I think that more people are paying attention. Like, it's shocking to hear that this 45-year-old woman had a heart attack. It's shocking to hear that. But now we know that symptoms are showing up. More people are talking about how symptoms show up differently for women than they do for men. A lot of people that I've talked to didn't know that back pain, neck pain, jaw pain meant heart disease or heart attack. And so what I've been able to do is infuse dollars into heart health education. We're talking about it more. We're seeing ourselves and other people. I've heard from so many other young women who have had heart attacks who want to do this work too. So we're gaining a community of folks who want to do the right thing and prevent more heart attacks in the future for young Black women.
Bravo. Bravo,
Absolutely.
Commissioner Conley. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today on DBL. And to our viewers, follow Commissioner Conley's heart health advocacy on X. Her name is D4Commish. Thank you again, Commissioner Conley. We appreciate you.